Welcome to Women of the World, a show which gives a voice to women from around the world who have chosen to make the United States their home. Our moderator today, Nadia Polukhin-Pratt.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Women of the World, a show that features women from all over the world that have made the United States their home. My name is Nadia Polukhin-Pratt, and I will be your moderator today, and welcome to our show. To my left, I have a wonderful co-host. Allow me to introduce her. Her name is Amalia Moreno-Damgaard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And then to my right, I have another wonderful co-host, Miss Uma Janga. Welcome to the show.
Hello, nice to be here, and Happy New Year to all of you.
And we have a wonderful guest for you today. Her name is Makena. She's a woman, an inspiration, an activist, a writer, a mother, and a wonderful guest. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here.
Hello.
Wow, so you're an author, you're an activist. I heard that you came from Kenya around 1996 and on a student visa. And so you have been here for many years now. So can you share some more experiences that you had here? So what made you to choose America as your state here?
Okay, so my journey, my dream for America started when I was in high school. I loved writing and poetry and acting in drama. Those were things that were not commonly celebrated when I was growing up. With the economy, we were encouraged to go to school. Basically, go to school, get good grades, get a job, live your life. And I felt there was more to that. So that's when my American dream started, because I knew there were authors from America, and it was just not common to do that kind of things in Kenya. That's when my journey started, my desire to be in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We understand also that you're a woman of faith, and that her faith inspired you very much. Talk to us about how faith played a role in your immigration history, in your history as an author, as a mother, and in general as a woman.
Yeah, basically faith is everything. Just having that, the knowing that there's somebody greater than me has kept me going. In my immigration situation, so I had the dream to come to United States. And my parents, even though they were middle class, they both worked, they both were educated and had jobs. But there wasn't enough money to help me come to United States, because it takes a lot of money to travel and to especially come to school. So they didn't have the money and they didn't see a way out. But there was just that faith in my spirit. And I was speaking it with all confidence. I am going to United States. It was something that family and friends made fun of, because it didn't make sense. Knowing my parents, there was no way they would help me here. But that faith just kept me seeking and praying. And how I came to United States was completely a miracle, because I was, my parents were wanting me to go to a college in Kenya. And when I went to that college, they asked me, have you ever dreamt of going to United States? It was as miraculous as that. I nearly fell from my chair. and of course I said yes, and that's how my process began. And basically my complete provision, the provision was completely miraculous. It was very God orchestrated, and I found myself in United States very shortly. People supported and gave, and then I came here and I was hosted in a family that was very helpful. But basically that's how my journey began, with coming to United States.
So you started as an author, you came as an author, and how did you become an actor? Oh, so you didn't come as...
No, I did not. I was writing, but I was not an author. It was
okay.
a dream I had. That was the major dream that was driving me for United States. Is I wanted
Okay.
to go to United States because I wanted to be an author. I had no idea what I was going to be writing, but that dream was in my heart.
What are you writing about? Speaking of that, what is it
And
that
so-
inspires you, or what is it that what is the message that you get from the Spirit, God, that inspires you to write, and what is it that you write about?
So I think one of the things that God has put in my heart is the inner strength and how that really helps. So I started out with writing poems, inspirational poems. That's what I was really writing at the early age. And I was writing inspirational poems, but I also love journaling. So I journal a lot of, I'm always journaling. Anything that comes through my mind goes on paper usually. And so when I was going through my son's medical condition, that was pretty tough. And I was journaling what that journey was, the events that were happening, the medications, the reactions, the surgeries. I was just always recording what was happening. And in the process of recording is how I realized that I had a book. and that's how my first book came about, is just following those notes and just following how God was leading me even with his treatment. And that's how I realized there was a book. And so this book is basically sharing a testimony, basically the things that I learned through the journey. The self-education. I did a lot of online research on his condition and what can be done.
Okay.
So when I was speaking with his doctors, I was speaking not from ignorance, but I was reading very extensively to what his medical condition means. When he started taking medication at the age of 6.5, I want to read about the medications, what the side effects are, everything. So that really helped me with following his progress, what was not working, advocating for him. And it really led to not only the book, but my son, he's stable, and himself come to my third book that is out there is actually my son's book. Miracles Still Happen. So the child that wasn't expected to learn and grow is an author now. This is his book that he has written, and I have helped him. Some of the parts I explained a little more, like with the medical stuff, but it's his stories that he sat down and wrote.
And just so we establish, sorry to interrupt you, how old is your son today?
He's 14 years old,
And wrote a book.
and he has published a book.
Unreal.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's really amazing, and you are amazing, and you are inspiring at the same time. I see you as an entrepreneur. You are embarking on an entrepreneurial journey here in the United States by becoming an author. There are so many things that you can do with your work. How are you using your book?
So my goal is to inspire people. So talking of my third book, Become Whole, Unbreakable and Unstoppable, it's a subject I'm really excited about because circumstances do come against us. Life happens, and so often it's very, very easy to focus on the circumstances and forget about living our lives. So my biggest goal is to inspire people, to look beyond the circumstances and see themselves. We are strong, and God has put so much in us, and if we can focus on the inside, we can beat the outside circumstances because our strength comes from within. It is not from without. So in dealing with life, knowing who we are is one of my biggest subjects, is just inspiring people to look into themselves and find out who are we outside of our titles and outside of what people think and outside of our jobs, education. Who am I? as a person and embracing that. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How can I manage my weaknesses so that I can do better with my life? Because we all have those. And so how do we manage those? So
I also see you as a speaker, you know, using your book as a platform to launch a career as a speaker. But I also read about you're also a founder. You founded an organization in your home country. You're helping to build homes. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, so many years ago, also I had the vision. I was raised by a very strong woman in Kenya when women weren't getting educated and getting jobs. My mother went to college and graduated as a social worker. So she worked in the community helping women, children, placing children in homes that were homeless and helping with adoption processes. She was also helping neighbors that were helpless. I watched my mother bathe elderly women and wash their clothes, and so very kind-hearted woman. That inspired me, and it exposed me to the suffering of a lot of people. And when I came to United States very early, I came in 96 and 98, there was just the vision to go and do something in the community because there was a lot of suffering. There were many days, you know, you hear a knock and someone says, I haven't had anything to eat for the last 3 days. Do you have any leftovers? I saw that. And so in 1998, there was a very clear vision in my heart that something needs to be done. And of course, I have had to battle the, who am I to do that? Well, so many other people are doing that. And nope, but there's something that God assigns to each specific person, and each vision is different. And that's what motivated me is I couldn't push that away. So I had to do something about it. That's when I started the registration of Cities Heart Crime Ministries. And then went through that. We did help some children with their education, and some have done really well. I do know there's one of them that is in United States today, so very glad for that. And then later on, after I got married to my wonderful husband, Steve, he inspired me to continue with this journey. He knew I was struggling in my heart, and I really wanted to see this come to a reality. So with his support, I went full into it, and that's how I was able also to leave my position as a chaplain and go into the registration. So we are opening our first home for orphans, and we are not gonna call it an orphanage. It is a home, and there's a lot of detail that is going into this. We wanna raise children that are, we are not just raising them to survive.
Is that here in the States?
It's registered here in United States, and then it's also registered in Kenya. So we do have a board in Kenya that is working with the organization there. Now our goal is to really focus on the wholeness of these children, because we don't. Our vision is pretty much to fight the mentality.
Okay.
And so if we can build that in young children as they are growing up, to believe in themselves, to get rid of the less than fortunate, we are less than fortunate, but to know that they are strong and powerful and they can do something great with their lives. That's what we want to focus on. We do have a very strong board here in United States and a very strong board in Kenya. So we are really excited about this journey.
And coming to the books here, I heard that you're writing another book too. So what made you to write another book? What do you think you missed in other books that you didn't write that you want to include that in the other book?
So I have a lot of subjects.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm gonna be writing a lot of books.
So which one is your favorite, you can say, like, you know?
So this is Becoming Whole, Unbreakable, and Unstoppable. Originally, I had started writing a book on parenting. I'm very passionate on children and raising them right, to be strong, first of all, in who they are, that foundation again of who I am being kind, being compassionate, having a strong foundation before starting to develop into other things like the talents. So I'm blessed to have two children that are very talented. They both are writers. My 6-year-old has processed her own little book. She has competed for the state of Minnesota in National American Miss.
Oh, wow.
This last year, she competed in the nationals. So they are both talented. But my biggest goal is their foundation. I want them to be strong in who they are first. To not embrace the success before embracing who they are. And that's my main goal. So I was writing on parenting. I was a single mother for many years after my first marriage. I raised my son alone for several years through difficult time, but there were principles that I applied in raising him. I didn't just raise him. I was very intentional, and I'm glad for that because he turned out all right. So my parenting book, basically because of parenting through, I started writing the book on parenting. And in the process of that book, that is parenting into wholeness, I realized that I needed to write something about the wholeness for the parents that are doing the parenting. So I put the parenting book aside and focused on this book first that talks about wholeness and building the inner muscles. So my parenting book is basically on general parenting for all parents, things and cues that are really helpful in parenting, but also some of the things to keep in mind when we are raising our children. For example, relationships.
Yes.
We have a big dream to always have a good relationship with our children, but it takes intention and focus, and a lot of times the things that we do with the hope of having good relationship actually ends up backfiring
Yes, that's
on
very
us,
true.
you know. So I have talked about that, things that can help raise the children in such a way that they continue not only have a good relationship growing up, but when they are adults, they can miss us and continue to have a good relationship. And also grow into who they are meant to be strong and to be able to overcome obstacles about life. And then in that book, I have included a section on single parenting. I've gone through single parenting myself, and these things that helped me in raising especially my son, that were very helpful. I applied certain principles that worked out. And when my husband came into my life, he never had any behavior issues to it, which he really celebrated. And so I have included a section on single parenting, and then advanced parenting. Dr. Nichols from Mayo Clinic requested me to write on advanced parenting. So with having raised a child that has gone through that, and I as a parent going through being a caregiver, the advocating and all that is involved, I've also included a section on advanced parenting and what that means and the help for the parents. So
I'm listening to you, Anne, and I have to ask you, there must have been countless obstacles in your life that you overcome. What are the modern day obstacles that you face? Obviously, being a woman of color, a woman as an immigrant. Talk to us about what are the obstacles that you face today, and what is it that most frustrates you, or what is it that most that kind of stares right in your face? What is it that you face today?
And also, how did you overcome them?
Sure, and also how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think one of the things that has really helped me, I mean, there have been obstacles, and especially in the journey of, again, raising my son. There were obstacles, and it was a very tough battle to fight for his treatment. being a woman of color, I struggle because in a sense I have seen God miraculously really come through for me in ways that I cannot explain. So in a sense, I'm lost of what the major obstacles have been, because when I went through school, my job came to me before I graduated my master's. I was hired and they waited for me to finish the master's program. So I didn't go through job search. I became a chaplain for 10 years. And that worked very well. I officiated numerous funerals for the people and for the families. Then I went into writing, and I am very thankful because I have received a lot of support from the doctors, and it's almost in a sense I'm amazed at what God can do. And so faith.
Yeah, so faith is the one that kept you going.
Faith has helped me overcome my obstacles, is what I would say.
So you didn't have any role model that you can say that that's person or some, so it's the faith that you tell me that you kept,
faith, role model, I would say my mother is a big role model in my life. But I also worked for Hospice of Twin Cities, and the CEO of that company, her name was Lisa Swanson. Strong woman, strong leader, very loving. She cared about all the employees. I mean, you just felt cared for as an employee, and there was just something about her that I really admired. And so that's somebody that I've looked up to as well. Among other people that I have observed, overcome. I can think back to people like Abraham Lincoln and all the failures he had before he succeeded. And the moment he did, he made a big impact. Martin Luther King, and you know, there are people that I look at and they inspire my life. So
definitely,
being strong inside, having good role models is definitely a winning formula. I think that propels a lot of what you are doing, and it's very visible. Before we finish, I'd like to hear a little bit about how you see yourself applying all these wonderful things, books and charities and orphanage, all these wonderful things that you're building, that you're doing. How do you see yourself in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? How are you going to make this work in terms of inspiring, in terms of helping, and how can other people help you accomplish what you're trying to do?
Thank you. So my prayer is that I would find a platform, because I would like to inspire, especially women, but people generally. There's a lot of people with dreams that die with the dreams in their hearts. And if someone can hear me and think, if she made it, I can make it too, then my life will be worth living. So I do want to inspire people. I do want to inspire especially women, because women, we do have a lot of strength in us to rise up above our circumstances. I have also been a victim of abuse, and so my other goal is really to work with women that are going through abuse and don't know how to deal with it or how to overcome shame. I have had to talk of obstacles. It's coming now. I've had to fight. I have had to fight shame. Shame, you know, because one of the things when your life doesn't go as planned is shame. And for a very long time, I didn't know what my place was. I felt ashamed. I felt like a failure when I went through divorce, abuse and all that. It changes a lot about a person. And so those are things that I have had to fight through and still say, no, I do have a purpose here, and I'm not going to let shame.
They also make you stronger, right?
It makes you stronger. So you make that decision. I'm not going to let this hold me back. There's a reason I'm here, and I'm going to fight for that reason. So I do want to inspire others to look inside and not without. And especially also parents. because how we raise our children makes a difference in who they become and what citizens they end up becoming when they are grown. So I do desire to inspire a lot of parents that we can take parenting more intentionally and more seriously to see better results, both for our children and for our relationships. And then for Cities Heart Cry Ministries, that is just such a dear vision of our heart, and I say our heart because we do have board members that are called into this, that have stood through very tough registration and have even encouraged me when I felt a little discouraged with the process. So our vision is to see some orphans grow up, not feeling like orphans, but feeling like they have parents, like they are strong, that they are loved, and that they can do exploits with their own life. And so we are teaming up with others, and just many people are volunteering to come alongside and support us in various ways. Some people want to travel to go and help with the home for the orphans. It is going to be called My Loving Home. That's the name, and my son came up with that. So we are just raising awareness, and many people are coming beside us. It's something even as a board we can't do on our own, but many people are coming alongside and saying we want in. So it's a big project, and it's going to be done by lots of people.
And sounds like, based on what you're saying, that relationships are very important. You've said relationships between us, between parents, between us as residents, citizens of the United States, Minnesota, the world. So relationships are important.
Very
Is that
important,
so?
very important.
Super.
We need each other.
And Anne, before we conclude, where can our viewers find more information about you?
So I do have a couple websites. The first website is makenaministries.com. So if you just look for makenaministries.com, you should find a lot of information about me. There is a blog there that I write, and if you would participate in that, we can find answers together. And the other website is Cities Heart Cry Ministries. If you Google that, you can find a lot of information about the organization as well and what we are trying to do.
Oh, it's so inspiring, you know, that was very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
coming
me
to the show. Very inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you to my wonderful co-hosts.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Women of the World.